everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is TenajNikki, and today I'm going to give you guys a bit of a life update. It's been a couple months. To cut to the chase, I'm pregnant. That is the main reason for my absence, but I'll walk you guys through the IUI process. That's how I became pregnant, and just kind of like all the other updates in life. Overall, I'm very excited to get back to making content, and if you all want to hear about all those updates and more, keep watching. I thought I would do a get ready with me to get started with everything. I have gotten a little bit of makeup, and actually shout out to Sher's Beauty. I'll link her up here and in the description below. I still follow all of my YouTube friends during this time, and I went ahead and upgraded my Ipsy bag to the Icon box when we found out that it was going to be Pat McGrath, and I actually did get a decent box, especially for the price and everything. So I'll be using mostly new to me products today, so this will be kind of a first review, get ready with me, and life update video all in one. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to use is this one size primer. It's so well loved that it is rubbed off, but it is awesome. You can buy it at Sephora or from the One Size website, and yeah, it's just a really good primer that's sticky but not blurring. Up to updating you guys on my life. So first thing I think I should explain, if you didn't know, and to be honest, it's fair if you didn't know because it's not something that I necessarily lead with. I'm in a same-sex marriage with my partner, whom we've been together for approximately 20 years now. We're high school sweethearts, and we've been married for over 5 years now. Oh, and this is the Brow Wiki One Size brow pencil. I've not used this before, so we'll see if I like it. I got it in black brown. Me being in a same-sex relationship does obviously change my options of conceiving. It's very deliberate. Anyway. Very, very deliberate choice. I forgot how chapped you can get. I had to put some lip oil on. We started out with a fertility clinic several years ago. I'll say maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. At that time, we had to do like psychological testing and everything. Times have changed a little bit since then. Most places don't require that anymore, including the one that I went to this time around. But yeah, even back then we had to do psych tests to see, I guess, if we were fit to be parents or something. I did a lot of testing back then, and you know, everything was all a go. I was ready to start the IUI process. So the IUI process is not IVF. IVF is a medical procedure whereby an egg is fertilized by sperm in a test tube or elsewhere outside the body. So this is basically, eggs would be harvested from me, and then the donor sperm would be fertilized with donor sperm outside the body, and then they would put the zygote inside of me, and then hopefully it will take, and that's how it will work. That process is extremely expensive, extremely expensive, and my heart goes out to anyone doing that specific process, because I would say it's more arduous than what I decided to do. What I did is called IUI, and that stands for uterine insemination, and I like to call that one the very educated guess. What I did was, for months, was track my ovulation through urine tests. Like, the results will spike, and once your results spike, you have a 2 to 3 day window to receive the specimen. This is the One Size concealer, and I'm gonna be using that to cut my brows. Oh, man, you guys, I have like no pigmentation. It does have a bit of a scent to it, but it's very creamy. That's so funny. I can say this used to be my concealer color, but it's not anymore. So this is Mally's Best Dressed Lids. Okay, pretty neutral palette. I did get the Divine Rose Luxe Quad. Definitely gonna be using these. Ooh. Okay, so as far as the IUI process, like I said, it's a very educated guess. They use a syringe that's like, it's like that long, that the specimen is in, and then they just basically push that syringe to go directly into the uterus. Like, they push the catheter past the cervix and put it directly into the uterus. This happens during your ovulation spike. So between that 24 to 72 hour window is when you would have this done. I will say that IUI is probably the least invasive and much cheaper. I would say maybe even a fourth of the price cheaper than IVF, because I really didn't have any health concerns. This was the primary way that we were going to try. And most places will tell you 3 to 5 tries before you try IVF, which is of course much more costly and much more invasive to do. So us doing this process, honestly, the part that was the most expensive outside of some testing, was obtaining the specimen itself. I don't think people know how expensive that is. Honestly, that's why we waited so long to do it, because we knew ordering the specimen was going to be really costly. And there's a lot of variation factors as to why. Mostly it's because of the amount of testing, like, and washing of the specimen from the donor. It was around $900 per vial. And the clinic that we were working with at the time wanted you to have a minimum of 4 vials available. So, you know, do the math. It just wasn't feasible. At the time, it just wasn't. Other factors that determine on how expensive a specimen can be is kind of like the rarity. My wife and I are both Black American, and we wanted a donor that was also Black American initially, but unfortunately those specimens are few and far between. The long and short of it is, it's not because there aren't men who are willing to give, it's the stipulations that qualify them to be donors that limit the amount that's available. So, for example, part of the genetic research that goes into assuring someone has a quote-unquote clean specimen is knowing your genetic history up to 3 generations back. And I can attest that I personally don't know my genetic history 3 generations back. That's due to a societal problem that a lot of Black Americans face. There's a lot of displacement, and it really, honestly, it goes back to slavery. It sounds dystopian that way, in that everything kind of leads back to slavery, but even down to me seeking a donor of my same race, it's because of systematic racism and slavery. So there it goes again. Is the majority of the Black donors that we were looking for were of Haitian or Caribbean descent, where they had better records, just because, yeah. And since it's such a small pool, the quantity raises the price. Knowing that the likelihood of us conceiving on the very first try is relatively slim. It's like 18%, especially with my age. Conceiving on the first time just wasn't very plausible, and you know, we had to think, if we're going to continue to try. One of the donors that we landed on, his was $1,500 a vial. So again, if you want to try multiple times, you need to have several vials on hand. So, you know, it came down to, is it that important to us if we had a Black donor? And you know, ultimately it wasn't that way. You know, we opened up the search based on various other characteristics, personality type, education, and you know, things like height and whatnot. Ethnicity wasn't considered anymore for us as a top priority. We just wanted a healthy donor by that time. And we did choose one, and it was through a local clinic here in Michigan. And it being a local clinic also was an advantage to us, because deeply discounted the price. Because there's things that you just don't really think about. Shipping, storage fees, all kinds of stuff that like really would jack up the price of someone who even had quote unquote more economical supply. It's so weird to quantify that, but you know, that's what we're talking about here. I went through that process 2 times in a row, and I was getting very stressed out by the 3rd one. So I took 2 months off during that time, because obviously being stressed is not going to help the situation at all. Ooh, okay. So I'm using this now. Black tie is what gave that sparkle right there. So I like that. Back to the story. I took 2 months off, and 3rd time was the charm. Conception date was in late July. And so now I am approximately 19 weeks. Yes, I'm 19 weeks. That happened the slowest yet quickest amount of time in my life. Yeah, I just used that gel liner to like get in the base of my lash line. I just think it always looks much smoother. This came in the Ipsy bag. It is the Quick Flick for Perfect Wings. I am a bit of a wing expert, but I'm a little rusty. So having assistance like this will be really nice. Oh, there's 2 for left and right. There's 2. I think that's what always like tripped up a lot of people. This is the right side. It definitely flicks up. I don't think I do mine like that anymore. Give me 1 second and I'm gonna finish it out with the marker. I don't like how the wing came out. Let me try the other side. Okay, so that's the wing on the left eye versus the right. So yeah, that's much better. Maybe I just have to get used to working it. So let me go on and work on the rest of my face. I stick with one size because that's the majority of the products here, it looks like. This is the turn up base. Yes, I am 19 weeks, and I decided to do the pregnancy announcement on Halloween, and we were all skeletons. I'll insert a picture here. It's really cute. So yes, that's me and my little family. Everyone is super excited, of course including myself. I am very excited. But that first trimester, yeah, that's why you guys hadn't seen me in months, because that first trimester, I don't really know how to explain it. Like it was rough. After about 6 weeks, I just had all day nausea. Not morning sickness, but like all day sickness. It was all day. And I tried all of the remedies, like the natural ones, because I was very averse to taking medication. You know, you just don't want anything to happen. And you know, that first trimester is a really scary time. So I was like, no, I'm good. I can take it. I could not take it. I could not. And I spoke to my physician about it, and she had given me an entire list of over-the-counter things that I basically didn't have to ask to use, that she had like green lit to go. I used that list as a guide, and so I took Dramamine, you know, the motion sickness medication. I took that, and I took that daily, and that made it bearable. That made it bearable for a while. I still struggled, but the Dramamine made it to where I could kind of function as a human. I joke and say I was just very much concentrating on not dying. That was the vibe. Let's make it day by day, hour by hour. I will say, like, smells, I think that's something that you just can't prepare yourself for, is being able to smell everything. And I mean absolutely everything. Everything in my house was disgusting to me. Like, I know my house doesn't stink, but to me, everything in it does at this moment. And of course, that made the nausea even worse. And so I was just in this really awful cycle of I need to eat, but I don't want to because I'm super nauseous. But I'm also nauseous because I need to eat, and I'm not eating. And then when I do eat, I'm fine. And then I get nauseous from eating. That's what I was dealing with for a solid 6-7 weeks. It was pretty rough there. Another thing was just exhaustion. I have mandatory midday naps that spring upon me. Actually, there is no not taking them. They just happen. I don't have a choice in the matter. Thank God for my wife, because she did everything. Just everything. And dealt with all the shock. Everything that comes with all the hormone changes and the constant anxiety. Because I think anxiety is another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, is the anxiety. God bless those who didn't carry full term and, you know, their anxieties were realized. I can't imagine, and I personally don't want to imagine that kind of pain. So, but you know, that's something that's always in the back of your mind when it's such a delicate process to begin with. All of us being here is an absolute mathematical miracle. So it's quite amazing, really, when you look at it statistically, how it works. So yeah, I owe a lot. Try not to get emotional, but I owe a lot to her in making sure that I made it through that first trimester. And on top of that, I have what's being classified as a geriatric pregnancy. This is Scott London's Dewy Blush. This is my first time using it. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan of berry pink blush, so we'll see. Yeah, geriatric. If you give birth and you're at the age of 35, that is a high risk / geriatric classification of pregnancy. And you're like, but Tenaj, what? Yeah, I'm 35. I turned 35 this summer. And even though I'm considered quite healthy and I'm not at high risk per se, honestly, if this was 18 months ago, I wouldn't be considered a high-risk pregnancy. But because the magic number 35 hit, there's just another anxiety on top of it. I will say that I am in a very, 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 very privileged position to be in. Currently, as far as work goes, I am just doing consulting at this time. A healthcare consultant. That's my big girl job that I went to school for and got in student debt for. And you know, with me being a consultant that works out of my home office, I had a lot of freedom to just exist, or for the few amount of times that I was just really having a rough time at it. Oh, this is Beauty for Real Natural Deep. I like this. Yeah, that looks really good. So yeah, I was able to just, you know, do what I would consider the bare minimum. Of course, they were informed well before the internet knew, because I wasn't my full self. I was extremely blessed to be able to just literally sit in front of my computer and work maybe 10-15 hours a week on the projects that I was on. I just can't imagine like having to stand on my feet and work, you know, 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts. Like, God bless those who do it, because wow. Just wow. This is the Pat McGrath matte lipstick. This also came in the Ipsy box. I've never used a Pat lipstick before. Oh, it's a nice nude too. Okay. I'm glad I lined my lips first. It feels really moisturizing. My hat's off to anyone who has to work full-time, take care of families, and just exist outside of trying not to die like I was in that process. Just my hat's off to you. I will be right back. I'm going to put on mascara and lashes. Yeah, I'll be right back. So I'm back, and I'm going to use some of the products that I got from the Ipsy box. These little bauble bar earrings, they are so freaking cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on and just kind of tell you guys what I plan to do next. Obviously, having a baby is on that list of, of things to do. The due date is in April, so I have, you know, a couple months to kind of figure life out. It's so funny because people ask me, you know, am I scared? And the short answer is, of course. Oh, look how cute that is. Oh, that is so cute. So cute. Yep, and definitely my style too. This was an option of choice. This is the Misha setting spray. Misha Beauty setting spray. I'm assuming this is what Pat uses herself. I like the mister on it. It's infused with vitamin E, niacinamide, glycerin, and ginseng root extract. People ask me if I'm scared or if I'm ready or, you know, all that stuff. And of course, I'm ready, but I am terrified. Absolutely terrified. I don't know a person who's given birth who wasn't scared at some point, but I'm happily terrified. I don't even know if that makes sense to you guys, but I'm just in a good optimistic space. But there are realities to childbirth, especially at my geriatric age and being a woman of color in this country. You know, there's not a great track record for birth, so crazy stuff like that, that's always in the back of my mind, but I'm not letting it like affect my day-to-day reality of, you know, I'm carrying life, and I want to put as much positivity in this little being that's inside of me. And the last thing, this is Pink Lips lip gloss. I like that scent. Not sticky at all. I'll be right back with my hair combed a little bit, and I'll tell you my next steps for the channel. All right, you guys, so this is my final look, and I will say I'm very happy with my Pat McGrath Icon box. I know I saw some other creators who I feel like got the short end of the stick. It may be that I didn't get mine through PR, and maybe they focused on getting more of her actual products out to people who had to pay. Maybe that's the reason why. I actually enjoyed my box quite a bit, and using the other products that I purchased from Ipsy kind of all came together. I'm pretty satisfied with the look. It's much more pinky than I typically do, but you know, if Pat gives you rose, you use rose. As far as for next steps for the channel, I'm definitely going to be doing maternity based wear. I am showing a little bit these days, so the maternity clothes and the maternity outfits are on its way. And also, if you guys have like any questions about like the IUI process or just really any other details of my life that I mentioned here, I know I typically keep it very much in a lane of I'm giving you guys fashion and makeup, but if you guys want to know more personal things about me and my life, because it is quite the movie sometimes, just let me know in the comments and I will incorporate that a little bit more. But if you enjoyed today's content, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you're subscribing, make sure you click the notification bell so you know everything I have coming out here on YouTube. Follow me on social media. I'm at TenajNikki. That is on Pinterest, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.